Alrighty, folks, hour number 2. Here we go. We're trotting into the second hour. And if you missed the first hour, the podcast shall be waiting for you through Apple and Spotify. Welcome all those through New Zealand chiming into the back line as well. 8833. Simple number for you. Now, make sure you subscribe to the Run Home with Joel and Fletch YouTube channel because, Brian, for those who do that, you can watch this particular program with this gun half in between us two roses, Brian. This thorn between two roses. He's going to join us very, very shortly. Ben Hunt's going to join us a little bit later in the program as well. Comedian Titus O'Reilly's also coming to the studio to talk about his new book, 7 Deadly Sins in Sport. The best wacky team nomination today wins a $50 Ricky Ponting wine voucher. Experience Ponting wines with every Royal Caribbean cruise. Brian, our next guest, what a decorated career. He's conquered the Southern Hemisphere. He's off to conquer the Northern Hemisphere. 231 NRL games. 168 of those for the Roosters. 63 for the Bunnies, including a premiership there. 2 at the Chooks. 3-time premiership winner. But I just love the idea of a young man leaves a huge stadium. A huge, huge stadium. He leaves that not only with the premiership, but that medal. That medallion around his Gregory Peck. Luke Keary, welcome to the Run Home with Joel and Fletch.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah,
bit nervous.
No,
I
please.
walked in, he's 100 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting you sort of ready for over there in the Northern Hemisphere.
I heard it's real relaxed over there, though.
Yeah, it is. It's good. You'll find out, like when you're playing, if it's a Friday night, there'll be a crowd. Obviously, it'll be a packed house. But then you walk away, you're 5 minutes away, and no one knows who you are, and you can just do whatever you want. So it's going to be refreshing.
And when they don't know who you are, Brian, you've got to say, Je m'appelle Luke.
My name is Luke.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you this, Kez. So in April this year, you said you're retiring. You said, that's it. I'm gone.
Yep.
When did the offer from the Catalans come through? And was it something you'd always sort of thought about doing, or did it came out of the blue?
Yeah, no, I'd never thought about it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'd had a few World Club challenges over there, which we really enjoyed. Robbo took us to Paris one year, took us to Barcelona, but I never had that really Super League kind of thing. I always thought, I love the Roosters. That's where I wanted to end up. I wanted to finish there. And that's when I made the decision. That was it, right? I still thought I had footy left in me.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to go anywhere else and play in the NRL and decided to finish. And then I think it was, I'm going to say around Anzac Day, I told the boys just after Anzac Day, but decided a couple of weeks earlier, probably announced it a week or two later. And I remember driving back from Canberra and Robbo pulled me down the front of the bus and said, he goes, I wasn't going to tell you this, but I will because I might regret it one day. And he said, Steve Mack called me and asked, is there a chance of going over there? And it was the first time I ever thought about it. And it felt right. I don't know. I just sat on it. I actually sat on it for a few days, then told my wife the next week. And then the more I thought about it, the opportunity, we were going really well too at the Roosters. So I felt like maybe I still got a little left in me. But I'm so happy that I was honestly embarrassed. Like, so I'd retired and everyone was, people.
Oh, for the backflip.
Well, I was starting to sort out what I'm trying to do and all these things. And all of a sudden I've had to kind of
backflip, yeah.
Backflip, yeah, but I feel really good about it now, and I'm really excited. Family's excited. And
it's going to be awesome, mate.
Who are some of the names for the listeners out there who you're playing with over there?
Yeah, we've got a few good Englishmen. We've got Whitehead, who's gone over. Sam Tompkins come out of retirement last year. Tommy Makinson, the Golden Boot winner in 2019, I think it was. We've got a young English kid, Oliver Partington, who's a real good young fellow. I think he's been in around the English squad. And then our Aussies, we've got Nick Kotrick, Remus Smith, went over last year from Melbourne. Tavita Pengai.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He's gone over for the year. Tarek Sims.
He's got to stay away from the croissants.
Is Tarek Sims over there?
He's living with the head of performance, actually, Tavita.
Oh, that's smart.
Got him on a short leash. Tarek's in his second year over there.
Oh, yeah.
He's loving it. Bailey Sirenen's over there.
Yeah. It's a good gang.
We've got a good little crew, yeah.
And what about the health, mate? Because there was always the issues with the head knocks and stuff. And how's that all going?
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
good. Someone asked me about it the other day. Honestly, I feel really comfortable about it. I feel like I got taken care of really well. I've been able to speak to all the right people. I feel like the game's starting to take care of the players really well. The club's taking care of me really well. And to be honest, everything all the people that I've spoken to that have the knowledge, they don't have all the information there, but from what they do, I feel really comfortable with with how I am now and how I've been looked after.
And, okay, I'm going to ask you about this. What about the mooted rule change with the kickoff? As a current player, well, you're an ex-NRL player, but you're still playing rugby league. What's your thoughts on it? And someone who's had the...
I've never taken one.
No, I know, but what do you would have had to defend one, I'd imagine.
I try not to, but mate, honestly,
What's your
is the
take on it?
best. They are the best. Like, as a half, obviously, we catch them and watch these guys, and it is the most brutal play in, you can nearly say, in all of sport.
Yeah.
Like, I know what they've done with the NFL with the kickoffs, but I mean, I got a video on my phone of Lindsay Collins and World Club taking this one, and that Morgan Knowles comes out and they knock each other out. Like, I understand why people are concerned about it, but it is, as a spectacle, like even that one on Anzac Day, you never want to see it. Sully knocked out, Jared off the one Manly in the final. Like, you don't want to see it, but
they love doing it too.
It's as good as it gets.
But Lindsay loves doing it.
It's a badge of honour. Like, I know they all fight over who takes it. They look at the video about what side that team kicks that week, and like Spencer wants it, Jared wants it. Like, it's a kind of rite of passage.
So, are you saying that the NRL shouldn't mess with the fabric of the game, or you coming from the other side where you've had your issues with head knocks?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think we obviously know it's a bit of a dangerous play, but to be honest, a lot of the knockouts are the blokes making the tackle, right? Like the one on Lindsay in the final. I feel like those front rows are running dead straight, and as a defender, it's on you not to hit that guy running. There's a wall of defenders. A lot of those boys making the tackles too. Like, it's a hard tackle because they're running so fast, but they're actually running dead straight. Like, you can get your technique right. I don't think they should be. I think fans and even the players love it. Like, the players love it. I can tell you they love it, especially the forwards.
I want to share a story, take you back from way at the start. So Luke's playing in the under-20s, Brian, and at this stage I've got a big handle on who's coming through the ranks.
For the bunnies?
For the bunnies.
Yep.
And all the comp at that stage. And I'm with the continuous call team. So you've got Big Man, Hadley, the late Bozo Fulton, and the power of Bozo, And we're watching this game, and I said, Bozo, check out this 5'8" for South Sydney. He's a gun. And sure enough, on cue, dummy goes through, Luke Keary carves him up. I said, Bozo, he's a superstar, this kid. Trust me. He goes, he's too small. So anyway, I said, fair enough. So I went and grabbed the old media guide. I said, Bozo, he's exactly the same height as Cooper Cronk, right? And he'll fill out. He'll be the same size. He goes, where's he from? And you've set up another try. He goes, where's he from? And I read, Ipswich. He goes, not for long. Is that were you born in Ipswich? Is that right?
Born in Ipswich.
Yeah, but not for long, Bozo said. So all of a sudden, Luke finds himself in the Blues squad. But that's where your career starts, and then very quickly you're playing first grade. Was that your first year playing first grade when you won the comp?
Second
Debuted
year. In 13. Roosters obviously won it then, and kind of went in that starting role in 14.
Big gift for them. So what happens during the year, Brian? Johnny Sutton goes out for a period of time, so they've got to hand the reins to Luke. Appy Coruscant comes in because Luke, he's suspended for a period of time. So these kids were forced to be thrown in. Sometimes the best gifts come badly wrapped, and next thing you know, you're playing in a grand final. I think you set the first try up on the left-hand side, didn't you?
Last one as well?
Down the
AJ.
short side, last one to Greg. That's a good one. That gets replayed all the time. Greg, he's doing the go-in. But honestly, that people don't know this story. But in 14, had the peck, came back. We were going busted in the middle of the year. I remember Madge. We went down to Canberra. Reynolds actually got hooked the week before against Para. I played the last 20 minutes.
Wow.
So the week after, he goes, righto, Reno, you're going to play the first half. Kez, you're going to play the second half. Sutto was locked in at 5'8". And I was just thinking, what's going on here? Like, Reynolds was kind of...
What if Reno was having a blinder? Bad luck.
Yeah.
But this is and it can't credit to Madge because this is what he does, right? He's a hard man. He expects a lot from you. It's black and white. He'll put it right on the table in front of you. He doesn't play games, and there's no secrets with him. And Sutto does his MCL, I think, in first 20 minutes of that Canberra game, and that's the end of...
And that's how you guys started to pair up.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to ask you about Madge. It's a bit like, young coaches at the time, they want to, stamp themselves as... Do you think... How do you feel he'll go in Brisbane? Because there's...
Pardon? Hunt?
No, sorry, Madge.
Madge. I think it'd be so good for him.
Right. Tell us a little bit about him. When you say he's hard, what is it, the training or the way he speaks
Well,
to
I
you?
came to him as a kid, and I don't think I have the career I did without him because he taught me how to train like a first grader. He taught me hardness. He taught me toughness. He taught me about kind of getting through adversity, and he does it through the way we train in pre-season, the way he treats you. But like I said, he's very upfront and honest with you. There's no mind games. It's this is what we're doing, or this is what I expect from you. You either get it done or you don't get it done, and kind of you move over there. And I think for that squad up there, obviously a few different things have happened, but I think he's a perfect man to go in there. And they got all the talent in the world, and they probably just need someone now to kind of push all those young boys in the right direction.
How was it? It's well documented, your drama you had at South, especially with the owner. I've had issues with him as well.
7 texts here about asking about it.
How was Madge when all that went on? Or was he just following the corporate line, so to speak?
Yeah, he was supportive, right? So he was real supportive through the whole thing. It obviously wasn't ideal for him either because there was a lot of noise around it. I was young at the time, but I do remember he was real supportive through it, and then it turned out the way it turned out. But he stayed in contact the whole time.
Do you regret it? Do you regret?
You know what? I regret like the way I behaved because it's just you're young, you're drunk. Like if you look back now with got 3 kids, I go just put your head in your hands and go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But you know what it's like. Things happen like that, and it all ended up kind of working out for the best.
Yeah, well, you got another 2
for both sides.
You got another 2 comps.
We're going to go to the Roosters in a minute, Fletch. But just before we'll finish up on South and chasing glories out at the moment, you can see more about the young stories from all these players. Just back on Madge. So when he went to the West Tigers and you'd experienced victory with Madge, was it hard for you blokes going, we know he can coach. This bloke's getting slammed all over the post. Was it hard to know that you knew he could coach?
Yeah. Like you watch it and like you don't want to comment too much on it, but sometimes if you just don't have the cattle, like you're pushing up a hill. Like I think we've seen it. He went to Wigan, he did it. New Zealand, he did it. New South Wales, he did it. South, he did it. There's a few handy coaches that have gone to West and haven't been able to turn it around. Ivan was the exact same. So, I mean, sometimes you can put the best coach in the world in some different playing groups and you may not get the result. But, it would have been hard for him. I remember we beat him by 50 or 60 at the SCG one day and I was walking out.
I think it was 70.
He wasn't the coach.
Oh, wasn't
he?
I think
that was Noddy.
Oh, right.
I think Noddy was like the caretaker.
Noddy got hammered, that's right.
But I remember walking out and he's come out of the dressing room. We walked to the car together. And I just remember he was a shadow of the bloke that I knew, the big, imposing kind of aura figure. But it would have been tough for him. But he would have learned a lot too about himself.
Yeah, well, he's kicked on, no doubt about that. But the analogy you've given me there with Cleary and also Madge going there, it's a bit like when we go makeup, Brian. And I'll say, when we get the makeup for the shows, and I'll say to the makeup artist, can you turn me from a 2 out of 10 to a 3.5? And she goes, I'm a makeup artist, I'm not a magician. And that's exactly what maybe that was the case for Madge there at the West Tigers. Let's talk about the Sydney Rooster version of Luke Keary, which he has the same thing in common as you, Brian. South Sydney and Rooster.
Yeah, I went the other way, though.
You went the other way.
I don't think you got a spoon, did you?
No.
No, we got a comp.
Never got a spoon.
I want to ask, let's talk about 2018. The Cooper Cronk injury, the fractured. Did you know that he was just going to be a passenger? Like when was he ruled in?
I'm going to say 20 minutes before kickoff.
Really?
Yeah, because they did the needles the day before. He wasn't playing. He wasn't going to play.
No.
And then they took him somewhere and out here somewhere. Doctor did these needles, and he come back to training that Arvo and went, I reckon I'm maybe a chance, like, we're going to try it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
If it feels the way it did now, I reckon I can maybe get out of the boat. If he played, we knew he was going to do nothing.
Yeah.
But I still remember the warm-up. Like, I'd blocked it out completely.
So who were you supposed to play? I know Orbo was... Oh,
Orbo.
He was actually going to play in the halves.
Yeah,
play 6.
Orbo was going to play
He's a number 7. Yeah, he was 7, wasn't he?
He got 7, sorry.
Yeah.
He got the 7 jersey.
He's a premiership winning number 7, Mitchell Orbison.
Yeah, but the Cooper Cronk thing, because there was all rumours going around, and it never leaked out what the actual injury was.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you, and you've just answered it. You knew that it was all going to rely on you. Did you feel that pressure?
A little bit. Well, we changed everything around so me and Teddy could basically just run around together, wherever we wanted to go.
Yeah.
And Coops we actually worked on the night, but he would, wherever we went, he went the other way and sat on the short side. But Bill kept setting the short sides on him.
Yeah.
I didn't figure out early enough that he actually was never going to get the ball. But I felt a little bit, but it sounds a bit wanky, but like I felt like I was just so in the zone in the moment that week. It was like it didn't matter whether he was there, not there. It almost felt like the result was done. Like
Really? You were that confident?
Bit of a weird feeling like that, yeah.
Wow.
And I feel like I got that from the senior players, Jared, Boydo, Friendy. Everyone was just like, doesn't matter. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like one of the all-time games, and in that scenario, like as I said, this young bloke leaves the stadium. Like you must just think life can't get better than that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was cool.
Crazy.
I think even the year before we fell short, and then everything that happened, they moved on Piercy and Kenny Down, a few others, and then Cooper came in, and we actually struggled. It didn't just get put together and fly through that year. I still remember Anzac Day. We got hammered by St George, and everyone was coming for us.
Was that the year Friendy was getting hammered?
That start of the year. Remember?
Everyone was trying to get Friendy. They were calling for him, and Teddy.
He had a blinder in the grand final, didn't he?
Teddy just got there, and everything was just out of whack, and we fought really hard. It was actually probably good for us in the end because we had to rely on our defence, and we became a tough footy team. And then 2019 was when everything rolled.
So tell me this. We spoke about Madge. Tell the listeners about Trent Robinson.
Yeah, he's very different. I feel like Madge kind of taught me how to be a first grader, and then Robbo taught me how to actually have an impact on games and control games and put my mark on games. Like he spent so much time with me on rugby league and my game and how to manipulate defences and how to manipulate people in your own team around you. Like he taught me so much about, and he's a front rower too, which is it blew my mind how much knowledge he had across all different positions in the game for a bloke that didn't play. I think he played a couple of games in first grade, but he's a front rower.
Yeah, that's right.
He just works real closely with you, and he's just got a heap of footy knowledge, and he's best asset as a coach when he imparts that on the boys.
So, Kez, if he's doing that to you, is he doing that to every positional, like every player?
Yeah.
So he'd go to Jared and say, listen.
Well, we have individuals with him. We have individuals with him all the time, every week.
Yeah.
But he's got, He honestly, I thought I knew about footy and that when I got there, and then I realised I had no idea what I was doing for the first 5 or 6 years of my career, and it actually started to put some substance behind where I'm meant to be on the field, how you're meant to actually run it.
Wow.
Getting people in different positions and the little nuances of footy.
Can I just go back to, and I think this is tremendous in rugby league, that going back to that Cronk situation, how your group, and I remember I had to host something for the Dragons, and Slippery Morris was there, Steve Morris, and B. Moz was playing. He had a blinder in that game as well. And I said, do you think Cronk will play? He said, mate, I honestly don't know. Like, they are not saying anything.
No.
And you guys were so buttoned up as a crew. And I think Robbo said something like it was all about 196 or what. Everyone was part of it, whether it was the front person at the desk or the janitor. Every single person was part of it. And what he said, Robbo, was don't you put the onus on someone else. So if Luke Keary tells you, Fletch, then now the onus is on you to keep it quiet. But I couldn't believe how...
and
you did the same thing with Friendy the next year, when no one had a clue, honestly, what was happening. Did we, Brian?
No, loose lips, sink ships.
Yeah, I think it's show. Like it's that.
Did he stress that, or how did you keep that?
I remember we did have a chat. I remember at the start of the week, and he's got this thing about when you keep secrets, it makes them powerful. But it wasn't really a secret. It was more just like it was no one else's really business other than ours and that team. I think when you work so hard to get to a spot, and we were very, very tight, very, very tight crew. That
it just takes one person to tell a best mate, and they go, then they tell the crew.
Yeah,
and
even
so no one said a word.
You tell your brother, and then he goes to the job site.
Yeah,
I love that quality.
A few blokes, and then someone texts in his.
Yeah, Victor would have said something.
That's right.
Victor would have said something.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to ask you about. So you've played with some very, very good halfbacks. Where is Sammy Walker going to end up? You think? Because when he first came into first grade, everyone was going, "Oh, this kid's got." He's very unorthodox.
Yep.
He won't last. Last year, I thought he was he was brilliant. Where do you see his ceiling?
Yeah, he's a different one, right? Because I played with Adam Reynolds at the kind of start of his career. Mitchell Pearce had him for a year at nearly his peak, and then had Coops at the back end when he was established and ready. And when Sammy came, he came as a 16-year-old to us and raw as.
Oh,
Yeah.
But he'd been around footy his whole life.
Yeah. He's a footy nut, right?
He's a footy nut. He'd been around that Ipswich Jets reserve grade team for years.
super
training
confident.
with them. No, he's
No.
an introvert. Sammy's
Yeah.
an introvert.
Is he?
He's a real quiet kid.
Wow.
Real confident on the field, but straight
Yeah.
off the and he struggled first couple of years away from family. COVID hit. He didn't play any footy, so he
Yeah.
didn't get to play. He would have played 18s and 20s and then reserve. He didn't get to play any footy.
At least the
for a couple
races
of
were
years.
on, so you could have a bet.
He's good at betting.
right.
He's good at betting. I'll tell you that much. But it's funny because when I look at halves, right, and I was just saying before, I love watching Lachlan Galvin play, right, because he's got this base. Like, I feel like as a half, you need a base, and that's you compete, you're tough, you can kick, and you rely on your defence. And that'll, if you got that as a half and you got the other stuff that's got you to first grade, you'll have a 10-plus year career.
So if you're buying shares in all the youngsters, the portfolio is tipping the way in the Keary household, mostly for Galvin. Is that-
Yeah, well, I love those halves with that base because you can you're going to waver in out of form, right?
Yep.
Over, you know,
So just
Mm.
repeat those pillars. I love this.
Mm.
you compete,
Yep.
you're tough,
Yep.
you rely on your defence, and you can kick well as a half.
Yep.
I feel like they're the four things that'll, whether you wave in and out of form through your 10, 12 years of footy, you'll
Wow.
be there.
Yeah.
You'll be there. People love playing with you. The coach will pick you. And Sammy didn't have all those things.
Yeah.
Like he was this that's what people say, he's unorthodox.
Yeah.
He's got these big plays.
Chip and chase, little grubbers.
And I feel like Robbo and the Roosters and Sammy, to his credit, has worked so hard at getting them. And a lot of players can't pick them up. You pick them up, you know, you're born with them,
Yeah.
you grew up with them, you pick them up through the grades.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's been able to pick them up. And it's really rare. And then his skill on top of it, he's one of the most skillful ball players.
Wow.
We'll see. You get the Benji Marshall. He's kind of up there in that.
Yep.
Sean Johnson, Benji Marshall with the steps and the flicks and the chips. And even the stuff, the chip kicks and the grubbers.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
and Teddy just go, how did he know that
Yeah,
was
the
there?
cross-field one, that
Well,
gets me.
He's always looking at different things.
Wow. Geez, that's a huge
Um,
rap, isn't it?
But he's been able, I feel like he's gone back and he's been able to pick up that toughness. That you've probably seen defensively, struggled for a while there. He's done a
Yeah.
heap of work at training,
Yeah.
like a heap of work. He's bashed himself
Wow.
silly. So his ceiling, I feel, is up there with those really, really great halves.
So you feel Origin, he'll be
I feel like he can
Queensland?
get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he can definitely get there because he's got that competitive now. He's got that toughness. He's got a good defensive game, and his kicking's come a long, long way.
Now, Kaz, we've got a lot of Roosters fans out on the text line. They want to know, how are the Roosters going to go next year? Now, no senior players have gone. Jared's gone. The two Josephs are gone. And now the Cheese and Sammy Walker not back till round, 15, 16, they're saying. How do you think the Roosters, will they change the way they play?
I don't think so. Like, I think with Robbo, he's kind of got that certain style he likes. Every coach has a different style. We've got Justin Holbrook in there who changed a few things up for us last year. So I don't think the way they're going to play is any different. I think they're going to be real competitive. They'll be real competitive. Robbo, that club, the crew there, they're going to be competitive. And whether they can get to that real top echelon, it's going to be on them. But I can tell you one thing, they're going to work hard. It's going to be really interesting to see that middle crop of guys like your Victor Radleys, Lindsay Collins, Spencer now. They kind of go into those senior roles. Teddy's obviously been there for a long time, but it's going to be interesting to see him. And then obviously the halves kind of where Sandon and they've got a young Jake Elliott there. Chad will do a role for him, but it's just going to be interesting to see all these young kids come through.
Wow.
Because there's a good crop. There is a good crop
there is
coming
a really
through.
Good crop. That Rob Toyer, Blake Steep, D. Larcelle, who you've seen.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a big
There
kid.
is these young kids, and I feel like you got to get them through 30 or 40 games now. Like, it's going to be tough for them.
A 2-year project, maybe, yeah.
30 or 40 games. They did it in 2016. Latrell,
Yep.
Nat Butcher,
Joe
Joey
Manu.
Manu. Rads came in 17, but they just got him a year. I think they come last
Yeah.
in 2016, and then
Off you go.
17 they were back in the prelim, but they might have to bite down for a period of time.
Well,
for those young
Panthers
kids.
did the same thing. They missed the finals and then went bang.
Well, just on that, Kaz, I like asking players because you get a different sort of answer when you speak to the forwards and the backs when you play against the Panthers. What is it about their? I know they're supremely fit.
Yeah.
They have to, but it's their defence, the way they defend. I've never seen a side can defend the same way they do in minute 1 to minute 79. Is it frustrating as a ball player to have them in your face every time? Because it seems like you don't get a break.
I think it was none from 10 from the last 10.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, wow.
mate, they are... Like I was speaking about the base before, right? Their defensive base is as good as we've ever seen in this game. And they've wavered in and out of good attacking periods through these last 5 years. And they've, like, during periods of this year, you're looking at them going, they're way off the ball.
Yeah.
Like
They limped into the
they're
semis.
way off the ball. But their defense has not wavered once through 5 years.
No.
They would have had 20 points put on them a couple of times, maybe. And that they'd just lean on it.
You get
and
2
every
tries.
time-
That's all you get in it. You get 2, mate.
Every time I've played them, they have just suffocate you.
So are you worried about their attack? Like, what's the tip sheet when you're playing against the Panthers? Do you go in there? They got the Keary, you got Dylan Edwards at the back, or is it about trying to break down their defence? Like,
It's a bit of both, right?
yeah.
Because you got Luai came into his own this year. Edwards is. We went after him a few times and tried to kind of limit him because he's their biggest, and it's very, very difficult. And he's off the back of that defence, kicking out of your 30s, catching on his 50s, back at you. We tried it. We tried a few different things. They can change. Nathan and Jerome are really good at changing the way they play. They change angles against us all the time. It troubles us. But they play a real simple game out of yard. There'll be yardage sets where To'o takes it.
Yeah. You know what's
Bright
coming.
was taking it. Tago was taking it. The forwards were not even. Yo in that would get back on play 4 and have a carry. Nath kicks him in the corner. And
You don't get shots on goal, do you?
Do not get shots.
Kiz, we're going to go. We appreciate it, mate. What a career you've had. We'd love to get you back in. We'll get you on the blower when you're over there in France. Mate, I just want you to have a word too, because I noticed, which is a small word, I opened up the show, Brian, about Paulie Griffin.
Yep.
Griffo, right? You were actually, he was one of your first coaches. You were there
coach.
today as well at the Memorial.
Yeah, he was my first coach. He's one of the best humans in this world, and it kind of showed today. There was thousands of people out there. I was saying to you before, if there was one person that I had to call if I was in trouble or needed something, he's the first person, and he wouldn't bat an eyelid. Like, he's such a good man, such a good family man, such a good community man, and the amount he's done for his family and the whole community. I think it showed today how much people appreciate him, how much a good man he was.
Yeah, rest in peace, Paulie Griffin, and Luke Keary. All the best in your endeavours. And, mate, the board, I hope they've been kind. You've been sitting in front
very good, yes.
the text machine. But we must get to the news.
Except this one. I'll read this. This is Lundy. Luke, if your sister was Margot Robbie, could you kiss or pull her?
No. Now, Luke, this is how much we love you, right? We're supposed to go to the news at 4:30. It's almost 4:37, so we must go right now. Luke Keary, thank you very much and all the best.
Au revoir, Kez. Au revoir.